All right, but yeah, let's get to this
No,
because I gotta get to shit, so I can't be out here too long. Gotta
We
talk to my
all have
cousin.
places we would like to be, Mitch. We all have places we would like to be.
Okay, you didn't have to do it like that.
Nah, people always like, I gotta be here, and then like it's like, don't you think I would rather be doing something else too?
I don't know. Like,
no, I
what
mean,
if this is what
there's
you would
some
rather
days.
be doing?
No, there's some days where I don't want to do the fucking podcast, but I'm trying to do some shit, you know. Trying to build some shit over here. You can't just be like, well, fuck this, like, you know. Like,
I wasn't saying all that, nor saying that this was a time constraint. Well, like, not in that way, at least. Like, I'm just meaning, like, because obviously I'm here. I just mean, like, can't take too long because there's shit to do. That's all.
I'm mad I didn't record us talking about Gandalf.
That was your fault.
How much of a bitch he is.
That was your fault.
Anyways.
And you can go ahead and say whatever you want because it's your mouth and it's a free country.
I think people give Gandalf way too much credit. They give him way too much credit because he's got a good highlight reel. That's his fucking problem. Like, he's like, you know what Gandalf is? He's like a quarterback, right? That's got like a lot of highlights, but like no rings. Like, like he's got like,
wow.
He's got like a lot of highlights, a lot of good highlights.
He doesn't want any rings.
Super Bowl wins.
He literally doesn't want any rings at all. Was the point? No rings at all.
That's what losers usually say. If you're just tuning in. If you're just tuning in, I'm your hater host, Logan. I'm here with my best friend, Mitch, and this is the Milk and Toast podcast. Say hi to the people, Mitch.
Right now, I'm thoroughly upset, so you'll hear from me later.
Mitch is just sour because we've been talking about how useless Gandalf is in Lord of the Rings.
Not we, he.
Fine. I've been trying to preach the gospel of how useless Gandalf is in Lord of the Rings, and Mitch is just, he can't come to grips with it.
There's nothing to come to grips with.
Reality.
My reality is fine. Thank you. My reality is fine. Thank you. Everything's okay. I'm not doing this with you again because I don't have the time.
We're gonna watch the movies, and I'm gonna prove you some things. Like, I'm gonna point out, I'm be like, look at this shit, and you're gonna have to like contend with why the bullshit is happening on screen.
Okay.
All right. Good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like actually excited for that. I'm gonna actually make that happen because I want to find out like how you actually respond to like okay, I'll give you one good example, right? At the beginning, way in the beginning, before anything crucial happens, right? They have to go into they have to go into the cave. They have to go under the mountain to see the dwarves, right?
Well, yeah. That's where Gandalf fights the Balrog.
Yeah, and Gandalf gets to the door and he can't remember the password. And there's just, it's like, he's so fucking useless that he doesn't even like recognize that, oh, this is in a different fucking language. Like, and he doesn't, he's like, like Frodo has to point it out. He's like, what is that? And he's like, it's Elvish. And he's like, well, what's the Elvish word for friend? And he's like, oh. And then he says it, and he's like, oh shit, the door opened. Like, but before that, they're literally sitting there for like half an hour until he fucking remembers what the fuck he's got to remember. Like, they don't have no fucking place to be.
Well, weren't they fighting that spider lake thing?
No, that shit happened because Merry and Pippin were playing in the water. But that would have never happened if he just remembered and they just went in. Like you give kids too much time on their own, and then they start knocking shit down in the store
and causing fucking problems for everybody. In any case, okay. Well, I guess that did happen. It's too bad he eventually did open the door. That only probably Legolas or Aragorn would have been able to.
If Frodo wasn't there, he would have never opened the door.
Well, and then we would have no story. So
Frodo, who doesn't speak Elvish, at least in the movies, was like, "Hey, well, what's the Elvish word for the Elvish riddle?"
Which they got, which they eventually got.
The funny part, I can't stop laughing. The funny part is like when he like tries to open the door the first time, he's literally like, "Open sesame."
He was kind of like that, right?
I'm sorry, I sound like such a nerd right now, but it's just like certain things in that movie is so fucking funny to me. He says the door says to speak friend and enter, and he goes, "Open."
Well, people get confused. It was a dwarvish door,
which he speaks.
A dwarvish kingdom with an elf speak on it.
He speaks all of these languages.
Yeah, but sometimes you get confused.
Imagine reading Spanish. Imagine reading a Spanish riddle and then being like, "Let me speak German right now to this fucking door."
He's not perfect, yo. Like, he makes his mistakes. Jesus. All of them do.
All right. There is a perfect meme that shows like all of the, when they do like their big photo moment where they're like all standing there and they're like, "Oh, it's the Fellowship of the Ring." Like there's a good meme where it's like Sam and, for whatever reason, Sam and Aragorn are like standing right next to each other, right? And somebody said in the meme, they say 80% 80% of the power of the group is just on one side of the line. Because Sam and Aragorn do like the whole movie by themselves. They do like the whole fucking story.
That is not fair, because Aragorn at one point has Legolas with him, who's responsible for keeping them all alive.
No, Aragorn, even in like when they was like trying to save Gondor with all the ghosts, like Aragorn is like fighting for his fucking life, and like he turns at one point because it's the giant elephant, and he turns to Legolas like, "Bro, what the fuck?" and then Legolas
gets
like
rid
wakes
of a
up.
Giant elephant.
That's what he.
Like, I don't see the point. Don't disrespect Legolas in front of me. Then that'll really have me. That'll really have me roar.
No, it's just that like Aragorn is doing his best, and he's like, "Legolas, come on."
He's like, "Bro, you're the only one who can somehow get rid of that, and I need you to get rid of it, please." And Legolas gets it done.
He's like, "I don't need you down here. I can do the chopping. We got the chopping. Go do some amazing shit
and get rid of the elephant, please. Get. Yeah, I mean, that's what I mean. Like, he had Legolas and Gimli's still there too, and like Gimli, hardy dwarf. You know what I'm saying?
Gimli's trying his hardest, but like he can only do so much.
Little dwarf, but
he'd be MIA in a lot in battles. Like he'd be like,
he'd be there. It's just like he never got screen time. Yeah, he do be falling over, but he never got screen time. He didn't get as much screen time.
That dude fall over more than Shaq. Like, Aragorn, we gotta come pick him up. Yeah, come on, man.
Get the fuck up, Gimli. Come on. Damn it, Gimli, get the fuck up. But like, don't disrespect Legolas though. Legolas got them through that movie.
Legolas is cool. He's just lazy. Like, he's fucking lazy, man.
Lazy?
He's lazy because he could be doing so much more. Like, his potential.
Oh my god.
No, listen.
My god.
No, he could really be doing so much more.
He could be doing so much more.
Yeah, and he dropped the ball when like they blew up the wall too. Like,
no, that orc was just on fucking steroids and crack. He hit him in literally like all his vitals, bro, and the orc didn't go down. He only has arrows. He couldn't chop off any limbs.
That moment too, Aragorn was like, bro.
Like, he couldn't, like... And it hurt watching it, too, because, like, up until that point, Legolas had, like, never failed.
Yeah.
And then you're like, shit, he hit him in all the spots he's supposed to hit him.
Except his legs.
And then, like, death. Literally, you hit him in all his vitals.
The number one sharpshooter.
And, like, nah, it wasn't gonna happen. Like, I don't know if he's making those shots, somehow magically getting the right tendon spots to make an orc fall in exactly the proper way.
Couldn't shoot him in his thigh?
Well, yeah, you shoot him in his thigh, but he doesn't die. That's the thing.
He'd fall down.
No, you're thinking he'd fall down.
He couldn't shoot him in his knee?
Ah, the old arrow to a knee thing.
Lock that knee up.
Maybe, but you're not necessarily stopping that orc. Specifically, the muscle-bound orc.
Maybe you're right. Maybe he hops.
It's not as valid. The point is to kill. He went for all the kill shots, though.
That's a little dumb at that point. After 2 kill shots, and you still didn't kill him?
It was like, how many shots was it in total? Like 3?
It was like 3. It was like 3
shots.
He almost got out 4.
And then he was like, yo, what the fuck? And by the time he realized, like, oh, fuck, I needed to be shooting him in the legs. Dude was already, like, there.
The consequence of his actions is just too dire to not put that on him. Like, it's just, like 100 people died at one time.
After he did his goddamn best. It's like in hindsight, if it was on like 2020 or whatever. So Legolas, in hindsight, what do you think? Well, I think that probably I should have shot his legs. But I shot all his vitals first thinking he'd fall. And when he did it, it was too late to realize that I needed to shoot him in the legs.
He's like, listen, they played a great offense and we gave it all we got. I was out there, you see me. But but like, sometimes you just gotta go back to the drawing board. I know we had halftime, but like sometimes it's not enough.
Sometimes it isn't. Like us be putting the team on his back, bro. And then
he need to keep it off of his back.
To be honest, like, yeah, it's a problem. Because Aragorn be like, yo, I need you to do that next shit. Come on, please, bro.
I feel like Legolas would be talking shit the whole way they're walking, and that's why.
Nah, I mean, he's not that guy, but imagine just like, man, I'm so, Uncle Elrond went and told me about y'all bullshit, bro. Like, all this nonsense. We only taking this walk because your dumbass ancestors couldn't get rid of a fucking shiny object.
I don't know, because like every time like something happens, he's the first one to start talking back. Like,
he doesn't talk back. Yeah. What do you mean? Well, you mean that every other human other than Aragorn? Which is understandable. I'm not letting you take that. Literally understandable. Like, Boromir, first time meeting Boromir's like, we need to harness the power. And he's like, bro, literally every single one of you motherfuckers has said that.
No, like right before the big battle, he's like, nah, these fuckers ain't got it, man. This team is whack. And Aragorn's like, what the fuck?
I mean, was he wrong though? Is he for say wrong? Like, nah.
They
like,
won.
Yeah, but only after the fact, and after he was like, "Let me put my heart." And keep in mind, they didn't even like win.
They won in overtime.
Gollum had to fucking bite the ring off of Frodo's hand, and therefore kill all of the forces. So he wasn't even winning. Meaning Legolas was right. Legolas is sitting here like, man, if I don't figure out a way to get out this shit before it gets me to, I'm gonna be tight as fuck when I'm wasting my immortality on these motherfucking humans again. Because of this Aragorn ass motherfucker who's not even fully human and should have just rode out with me and Arwen, his lady who loves him, and we could have just avoided this entire mess. Let the orcs
should have went.
Huh?
Arwen should have went. What she
should have
went for?
But like,
she really should have.
We're not gonna get into that. It's typical.
A lot of women are like super capable in like that show.
Yeah,
like they were like doubly capable than like most of the dudes.
The human chick that had the hots for Aragorn who killed the Witch King, like buckets.
If like they sent out Galadriel, Arwen,
Galadriel ain't going nowhere. Galadriel ain't
I know
doing nothing
she
for
not
you.
going.
Like, she ain't doing nothing for nobody.
She's
bro.
really not going. She like
for
she
humans.
stays in one spot.
I don't even think the village would let her leave.
She
She'd be like,
doesn't
guys,
leave. She don't leave home.
and someone pull up with an arrow, be like, yo, you better chill the fuck out. You better chill the fuck out. We ain't gotta shoot you to kill. We just gotta hit some knees, gotta hit a few legs, and that's it. So you better calm your ass down and get your ass back in the village now.
If her, Arwen, and the king's daughter, I
forget her name too.
Yeah.
Shit. I know. I feel bad, but like
Aragorn's side piece. If they,
damn, bro, come on.
Why did she simp for him so hard? She knew it was gonna happen.
She didn't actually. I don't think she knew Arwen existed.
She did. She knew a lady
How did
existed.
she know Arwen existed?
Not Arwen, but like she knew a lady existed.
No, she was hearing that whole there's someone else and being like, oh God, how could this be? But still having the hots for him because he's fucking Aragorn and not actually even human, and that probably like turns on all the women around him
Sometimes
anyway.
you just gotta let that shit go. Sometimes
She
it's just not
she
for
killed
you.
the Witch King and moved on with her life. She didn't have no choice. She didn't die. You acting as if she died for Aragorn. She didn't die. She wasn't doing all that shit. She was just like, yo, I want to protect the kingdom. Put the team on my back, which she fucking did, bro.
Simp that hard. Like
she really did it. She really did, and she didn't even really simp to begin with. She legit wanted to fight for her kingdom. She wasn't fighting for Aragorn.
She was a little extra. Like,
she wanted to protect him, but she wanted to fight. And period. Like you can't take that away from her. The fight was in her heart. The fact she ended up killing the Witch King is just
Aragorn's kind of like a little bit of like a misogynist. He was like, I don't.
Aren't they all, bro? It's Middle Earth.
Well, because I mean, like,
bro,
he was like,
don't get me wrong, love Lord of the Rings, but if I'm looking at the time period, they're all a little misogynist. They respect the elf women, but like, even the elf women are like relegated. Well, I'm not gonna say relegated. It's just their positions. They're put into positions that kind of keep them localized to an area. Arwen running around doing all that crazy shit. Her pops didn't want her doing that, but like he's not a misogynist, so he wasn't controlling her like that. He couldn't like make her stay because he's not a misogynist.
No, I think he is. I just don't think he could make her stay. Like I
don't think Elrond's a misogynist.
He's like, I can run Rivendell, or I can like make her stay, and I can't do both. Like,
no, okay, wait. To be honest, I don't think elf culture. I just think they're far too civilized. I don't think they have the concept of misogyny. Like Galadriel's in power. It's not like they keep any and most of the thing is egalitarian. Like there's just as many, like for the elves at least. But only the humans really.
I feel like,
and the dwarves. I think.
I feel like if so and so's daughter was like, I feel bad for saying that like that, but I feel like if so and so's daughter wasn't like as sweaty all the time. Like he'd be like into it. Like he's like, you be like jumping around a lot. And,
funny enough, I actually think I'd argue against that. I think the reason, because don't forget, like, yeah, sure, she was simping, but Aragorn was sitting here like, he noticed. He was like, oh, who the fuck's that one? And I think it's because he was like,
he was without women for a long time.
And he was sitting there, female musk.
Yeah, no.
That's a new one. I didn't think I'd like that, but I like that. I like that.
He led her on. He was mean.
A little bit. He was feeding a little bit. He was like,
yeah.
Damn. He's like, yo, bro, you wasn't gonna tell nigga you had a daughter out here like that? When the fuck she grow up? Like, fuck. Although, shit, now that I think about it, I'm hoping she wasn't like 16. Like, you know how they be doing fucking
they do weird numbers because like
films?
like he's supposed to be like 6 years old or something, or like
and he's a lot aging because he's not fully human. But like, and then she for all we know could have been like 16.
I didn't know that shit.
Because
I read one book.
Middle-aged 16 ain't fucking like now 16. Middle-aged 16 is a lot different.
I told this story already. I read one Lord of the Rings book to fight racism. Like that was it.
And once again, the metaphor you made earlier. I didn't hear Logan. Logan made himself alternate reality Elrond and was like, yes, I'm the Elrond that was meant to be, that no one had the courage to be. And I was like, yo, that metaphor is actually too deep and like hurts too much. So we're going to move on. Yo, and that's what we did.
Speaking of white people and white people business, y'all gave Louis C.K. a Grammy.
Oh, right.
And
You
y'all
did
still
want to
took
talk
the whole
about that.
week to drag black ass Will Smith through the mud. Wow, that was a lot for me.
Uh-oh. Talk about it.
I'm just saying, because after all of the, I don't know, hullabaloo about the slap and Will Smith and him even quitting, just so y'all could shut up, couldn't shut up because you didn't have anything better to do.
Nope.
Which I get. Sometimes I don't have anything better to do. But then, just like a couple of nights later, you gave Louis C.K., the same Louis C.K., who used to pull his little Willie out, his little Louis out, and use that to harass women with. Like other people, like not even like women that were like, I wanted to say like women that like he employed, which isn't better, but like that's usually how the story goes. But like just women who were like adjacent to him, like other comedians.
What the fuck did he even win a Grammy for? How did Louis C.K.
his
win a Grammy?
comedy album that he came out with
he dropped
over the year or whatever.
Oh, he dropped a comedy album.
Yeah, he did a special.
So I didn't know we gave Grammys for comedy.
Oh yeah. Richard Pryor has a Grammy for that.
What?
I believe so. Yeah, don't quote me, but I'm pretty sure he does.
Okay. Well, yeah. So okay. Wow. But he was invited to the Grammys. Not only invited, but won a Grammy after his behavior.
He's invited to the Grammys probably amongst some of the same women he harassed. And all the moralizing about violence and horrible behavior and all that just fucking went out the window, huh?
No, yeah, like goddamn, bro. This man literally was locking women in rooms with him and then forcing them to publicly watch him masturbate. Now, I'm not saying that's as physically violent as a slap, but definitely to me worse behavior. So what the fuck? What the fuck, bro? How is Louis C.K.
Does it have to be as physically violent?
For it to be worse? No, which is what I said. That's why I said that's the worst behavior. But like it isn't more physically violent than like slapping someone, but nonetheless it's definitely worse behavior.
Right.
Like you're literally like sexually assaulting someone. Like technically, which I think he got off on some technicalities, but like you're sexually assaulting someone with your image. Mind you. So like what the fuck?
That's why that's why I feel bad for Will Smith. Is because there are certain times where like I think people go too far with the whole, oh, they doing this to black men, and like they want to use like people. What I mean is like they want to use people like Bill Cosby and like R. Kelly as like the example, and I'm just like, not now. Like it's like like they aren't kind to black people at all. But like this isn't the time for like the example of how bad they are to us. Like I don't want to be a part of this, but like this is truly one of those examples where
you
like
know what it is to me.
What?
Like it's like we have all this, moral like dialogue and whatnot, and it's like the only people it seems that our justice system likes enforcing the rules on and having uphold that standard is black us. People. How many? Because I mean, yeah, talk about Bill Cosby. How many Bill Cosbys have we had with a white face that nothing happened to? How many R. Kellys with a white face are there that nothing happened to? And like, and some black people get off on that. They be glad that like, and don't get me wrong, because justice has to be served, but they be like, yeah, you can't be out here acting white. And it's like, no, but that shouldn't be the case. There's a double standard here and we should be calling it out. If we're not putting those people in prison, like, no, like you don't get to just come down as hard. And like, I want you to, and mind you, it's not even about like me not wanting you to, because I want you to. Justice should be served. But to serve the point, like, oh, they did that bad shit? No, we're going to keep them free till you put the other ones away, is how I legit feel.
I wouldn't go. See, that's what
No,
I mean.
I know,
See, that's why
I know.
I can't say that.
No,
For
don't.
R. Kelly
But that's how I
and
feel.
Bill
I know
Cosby.
exactly. Isn't it horrible? Because I don't actually feel that way. Yeah, it's horrible.
It's really bad.
It's like I don't actually want to feel that way because I don't want R. Kelly doing that, lock him up. I don't want Bill Cosby doing that, lock him up. But I'm that angry to that degree. Like you can't keep.
I feel like you're not alone. I think there's a lot of people that feel that way.
There's definitely a lot of people who feel that way.
Definitely a lot of people.
And
who feel
I'm
that
willing
way.
to bet at least half to all of us are saddened by the fact they feel that way because I know I am. But nonetheless, that's how I feel. Like I'm not gonna lie. And like, of course, I want R. Kelly locked up. Of course, I want Bill Cosby locked up. But like, it makes me so upset. And it's just like, oh, so what I got to do? And mind you, what I really feel is like, oh, wow, you want to lock? No. You didn't put enough away. So here's what we'll do. We're gonna go put Bill Cosby with a few more white women. We're gonna go put R. Kelly with some white children, and then see if you care about the problem, and then do it to other people then. Which is far too much and not like what I would ever ask for. But nonetheless, it's like
I get your point.
Yeah. It's like, you can't keep making us like the burden of proof that the system, hey, look, the system works, hey.
Yeah.
We put those niggers away.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It works, all right? Like, no, it upsets me. And that's what I feel is honestly on a lesser scale, because, we're not talking about putting anyone in prison, but now we're talking about, I don't know.
Taking somebody's like livelihood away.
Or like, political manners in a sense. Yeah, in one sense. But now it's like,
in some senses, they want to like ruin his career. Like,
no,
because
that's
they stop production on like one of his Netflix movies or whatever.
Off one slap.
Yeah, they they're like it's rumored that like they might not do Bad Boys 4. I didn't even know Bad Boys 4 was going to be a thing.
That doesn't need to happen, I think. But
that's
regardless,
stupid.
Yeah, that's dumb.
Bad Boys 4 doesn't even have anything to do with white people. Like that's Bad Boys.
Yeah, and
white people make it. Like Michael Bay makes it, but like it's still like it's black. It's a black movie.
Yeah,
like,
no,
it's still
absolutely. And like personally, they didn't need to make a third. But the fact that they're stopping. Well, I didn't see it still, but like I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm good on like Will Smith is aging well and Martin Lawrence is doing okay.
Damn, I hate how you said that.
Bro, it's exactly how it looks to me. Exactly how and the thing is, because that's not how I think about Martin Lawrence. I think he's one of the greatest comedians of our time. He's
not aging well.
But and even that's unimportant. It's just when you look at how the plot point looked, it's supposed to be Bad Boys, but it looked like, hey, Will Smith's having the time of his life, and Martin he's there still.
They look old. They just look like they was talking about being old and like shooting people, and it was like really tone deaf because it's in a time where it's like, do we need police right now? Like fucking people up, and that's like the whole premise of Bad Boys. It's like here's these two cops. They don't follow
these
the rules.
Two black cops, yeah,
and they like to fuck people up, and it's just like we don't need this right now. Like
maybe not.
We got enough of that.
But the fact of the matter is, for them to not be letting him work for one slot, this man's given us a 30-year career, not nearly a stain to his name. Slaps one person because he felt in a
really
moment.
like. Do they even like Chris Rock?
They don't really care about Chris Rock.
They don't give a fuck about Chris Rock.
Which is the other annoying part. But like. He slaps him, and we know how I felt about it, but nonetheless, like, Will Smith is still the man who's like golden boy of Hollywood. You know what I mean? Right. And if he did have an emotional break, he's allowed that emotional break. You're not going to cancel Will Smith over a slap.
I almost feel like that's part of the problem, is that he is like kind of like a golden boy.
No, I talked to you about that. The respectable Negro. We spoke about this.
But literally. I mean, no, I don't mean just like the respectable part. I mean the part that like he is a golden boy and like you can't do anything about it except for profit from it. And it's like, do I want him to be the golden boy? It's like the black quarterback syndrome, where it's like, here's this black quarterback. And like he's the best we got right now, but like as soon as a white quarterback that comes by that we really want, then we'll replace him, And like,
that's the example you want to make.
Yeah, okay. That's what I'm saying.
Especially black quarterbacks is definitely on the rise, but like, no, that's a good example because that is kind of how it used to look.
They still do it though. Like they still
a little bit. They don't trust like black men in terms of quarterback position.
It's not.
Which
It's
is
just
like
racism. Isn't? It's
Yeah.
not. It's
No,
nothing
I mean,
to trust.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's valid.
And so it's just like this was the other thing I noticed is that like when I was watching like when they like because they show more clips of like things happening, and so like they show more behind the scenes of what happened, you know, after the moment and everything. Like Denzel going over to Will Smith to like, you know, console him, and like Samuel L. Jackson doing the same. And like even like the quote he said from Denzel was that, you know, like at your highest moment, you know, like the devil comes to you and all that.
Yeah,
It's like it made me look at Denzel. Not really Samuel L. Jackson, because I feel like Samuel L. Jackson is more keen to the game, but I feel like it made me but it made me like look at Denzel a little differently than I'd ever like seen him before.
Why?
Because,
do you think he did something wrong?
No, I don't think he did anything wrong.
Oh,
I feel like,
I'm like what?
I feel like Denzel has this persona himself, and he has a good image too.
Well, he's the one above, literally, Logan, directly above. If you think about the high, it's like, oh, you have Will Smith. We go up to Denzel. If we go further, it's Sidney Poitier. You know what I'm saying? Like those are the images of like golden boys of Hollywood,
but like
golden black boys of Hollywood too.
They like work under this framework where it's not like they work under this thing where like it's the sky's the limit. They work under this thing where like the sky may not even be the limit for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you look at somebody like Denzel, because Denzel is basically like a black hero. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like black dudes, everybody loves Denzel, but like black men love Denzel. You know what I mean? Like I remember we had a debate in college one time where like two guys was trying to convince me that like Denzel is the best actor ever. You know what I mean? And I don't know if they like right about that, but like they was like militant about the shit. You know what I mean? Like they was in their bag. Like they believe this, right?
Although amongst like black Hollywood figures, it's
He's
valid.
It's
valid. It's valid. No, but it's valid.
He's one of the better ones, and
it's
I feel
valid.
like
I prefer
like,
Wesley Snipes myself, but like
to Denzel,
it's valid.
That's a fucking take.
Personally, yeah, me personally.
That
but
might be. You know what?
I'm weird though, and Wesley Snipes was fucking Blade, bro. Like that.
What's Denzel got to be? Superman? Like,
well, you know, but in terms of acting, and I know you're gonna laugh, but I'm an actor. In terms of acting,
saying, what's he gotta do?
I know, but like, what would he have to do? But no, that's just my personal taste. But I'm saying, regardless, that's definitely valid. Also, don't you like, you can't shit on Wesley Snipes either.
No, I feel like Wesley Snipes has like a lot of range, and like, I felt like when you said that,
ridiculous.
I was like, wow, like maybe you got something there, like beyond him being
bro.
Blade,
Well, that's for me, both in terms of the genres that you know that I like. I'm the weird kid, and like Wesley speak. I mean, what was it? I mean, Demolition Man as well. Like this nigga Wesley was like killing, bro. And it's like,
Demolition Man, he's basically the Joker,
bro.
Like he's like the black Joker.
And then of course we got New Jack City, which I still haven't seen. You know what I'm saying? Which I want to see, but I've seen all the takes. And it's like, yo, my nigga Wesley, like, and then he was just in the thing with Kevin Hart, like for me growing up, at least, you know, Wesley was one of those big figures. You know what I'm saying? And so if it was but if you're gonna argue Denzel, there's not many people I could think of offhand. And, you know, especially back then, you know, seeing a black actor as much and like big time, you know, Hollywood pictures and shit wasn't happening as much anyway. If it wasn't like Wesley Snipes or like Morris Chestnut, who didn't really reach that level of acclaim, but was like definitely around just doing shit. You know what I'm saying? So like, and like Shamar Moore, like he's cool, but he was more like a pretty face. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't a bad actor. And I definitely wouldn't say that. I wouldn't. Like, he did the role, he did the job, got it done. But, like, let's be real. Like, grown-ass straight men would look at him and be like, yo, it's just enjoyable to see him. You know what I'm saying? So, and that happens sometimes. But if you're going to argue Denzel.
But I'm saying Denzel's that dude. That's all I'm trying to say.
He is. No, he is, man. He put on for the culture. And we don't talk about the culture in that way a lot, but he really put on for the culture.
But my thing is like, when I listen to the quote and I listen to, like, Denzel, I just feel differently about like what it means to be that dude, because it felt like he's like he's consoling Will, but it just felt like it's like he's consoling Will under like the umbrella.
Microscope.
Not just the microscope, like under the umbrella of this is where we are and this is what it takes to survive where we are.
No,
you know what I mean?
And I don't want to hold anything against Denzel because that's who he is, and that's the time he came from. Like being at the Oscars. You sure you're not? Because it sounds like it.
I'm not even trying to make a thing where it's like he's a respectability products or he's selling out.
Well,
or anything
and
like that.
I wouldn't say selling out. I wouldn't say selling out, but unfortunately,
that's not what my thing is. My thing is just like I've had a revelation about. It's less about Denzel. It's less about Denzel. Take me on that. It's less about Denzel and more about us.
But the umbrella he's talking about, like you can't remove him from the picture entirely.
No, you misunderstand where I'm going with. What I'm trying to say is that there's this world we live in where, like when we were talking about limits and stuff, like we have what we think our limits are, and then we say like it's like if you looked at Superman, right?
Yes.
And like he could fly, but like he could only fly to the edge of the atmosphere, but he couldn't fly to the moon.
Okay.
But then like you saw another superhero fly to the moon, right? And then you started to wonder why couldn't Superman? You know what I mean? Like after everything you've seen Superman do, and maybe even Superman is still like the better superhero, but even if he couldn't fly to the moon, right? But he still couldn't. You know what I mean? So like if some moon shit happened, like he couldn't be there. You know what I mean? So like what I'm saying is like his limit is the sky. Like he can't go past that. Like he can't go beyond that. Like that's where he lives and that's where his limit is. And he has to think about, you know, how is he going to keep Earth safe? Earth safe. I keep doing this dyslexic thing.
I thought you said Earth, but anyway.
I did. I said Earth and then I said safe. I switched the endings of both words. Yeah.
Cool.
Anyways, like he has to think about that, but like he can only do that within the confines of Earth. Like he can't go beyond that. And so after the Will Smith thing and listening to like people react to it, it just rang out to me that like Denzel is also just like one bad day away from not being Denzel anymore too. And the kind of emotion that invokes in me is like I have like a very deep sadness about that, because like Denzel is one of those people that like you look at and you're like, there's no fucking limit for somebody like him, right? Like he's in fucking Shakespeare, right? Like he's like in Shakespeare pretending he's Scottish. Like, it's like,
did he have a Scottish accent in the film?
No, you're not supposed to read Shakespeare like that. You're supposed to just read it straight.
You can add. Some people do.
That's some people add it, but like you're supposed to just talk it, right?
No, I know.
And they did. They spoke their own fucking like accents and went on with the show, and it was good. Sweet. It was good. He was great, actually. You know?
Yeah, I need to see that one.
He was really good in fucking Macbeth. I just love Macbeth. That's my shit.
No, I like it too.
So like when I saw him in it, I was like, is this gonna be Tempest, good? But then like I watched it, and I was like, I'm sorry, I doubt it. Right?
Good but like him. He's done it before.
Oh yeah,
on stage.
Yeah, no, so like his domain is the stage. Like, you know, this
it wasn't like that.
He's from the stage.
Denzel wasn't a stage actor.
Yes, he is.
Since when? I don't recall. I never. Well, if that's the case, I never knew that because I've only seen him in film, and then I thought he just went into stage because he wanted to act on stage. And I was like,
no, I believe he's from the stage. I think he's actually a Shakespearean trained actor, and that's why he was able to fucking do Macbeth in the first place.
It's horrible that I don't know that, and that people at large don't know that. That's actually really, really.
No,
horrible.
He is like hella range. Like he's fucking Superman. Like,
no, that's
literally.
great. It's just I legit didn't know that, and I literally only looked at Denzel. Well, not only because I know that he's been on stage, but I thought he just started as a film actor and then made the transition into doing stage because, you know, if you want to like act, stage is a place to do it.
Right.
And that's what I thought he did. I didn't even know that.
No.
And most people probably don't think of him in that way. And that's what Hollywood does to you because he couldn't be the, you know, black Hollywood Shakespearean actor. That wasn't going to fly. Like, what? Black folk don't do that. But that's crazy. But yeah,
my point was just that like it makes you think a little bit differently about your world that you live in. That like they'll tell you what the sky is and it's not even the sky. Do you know what I mean? Like they'll tell you this is where the sky is, and like you see somebody who reaches that, and then there's all this air above them that they can't reach. Like for Denzel to say that, the way he said that is that like, you know, you could be at your highest, but then like bullshit like this will happen, comes from a place that like, I'm trying to explain this so I don't have to explain it again. Because I know exactly what I'm trying to say. But it like comes from this place where like, why would it bring you down in the first place? I think that's what I'm trying to say. Is that like, why would it bring you down in the first place? Is that like Denzel recognized that moment as like catastrophic, and he's like he had to bring like supernatural forces into it and be like, it's the fucking devil did this shit to my boy. You know what I mean?
No, wow.
But like, and I'm not trying to, it's funny and I'm making a little bit of a joke, but I'm not trying to make light because it's like, that's how bad it was when he saw it. He's like, they're going to flame him. Like, they're going to fuck him up. And if I don't like at least go over to like console him before the storm happens,
it'd be by himself.
Yeah, it'd be by himself for like some shit that like,
ain't that big a deal. Like, understandable, we have to get it under control, but ain't that big a deal otherwise.
The deal that it is, it will not be. And for what should happen to him, he'll get worse. And for how much I could help him, this is only so much. And for that to be the calculus for Denzel Washington, that's fucking crazy to me. Like I don't even know if I'm even conveying what I'm trying to say.
It's hard to like piece through everything because I get what you're trying to like emotionally, or I get what you're like feeling. In terms of how you're trying to say it, like I'm still trying to put it together a little bit better. But like overall, like especially when you say the calculus part, like that I get, like, why does he have to do all of that? And you know, it's not like he has to, but it's like, if he didn't, the ramifications would be different. You know what I mean? If he hadn't, it's like, why is, because you use the term umbrella, and it's like, yeah, it does feel like there's a certain image that he has to maintain and that he ascribes to. That's a good way to put it. Like, they ascribe to that image. And that's who they're supposed to be. For lack of a better word, that's the bubble that they're supposed to fit into. Right. Though their bubble is expand, and if you want to talk about the sky shit you were saying earlier, like, you know, whoever made their bubble gave them a high ceiling, but then it still feels like they do one little thing, and it's like the illusion of freedom. Yes. Almost.
Exactly.
It's the illusion
that's
of freedom.
Exactly what I'm saying.
There's the ceiling. It's like, yeah, I could do anything, and then you do something and you have to hit that ceiling. It's like, wait, was I able to do anything, or do I have to ascribe to what this is? Because that's how it feels to me, you know what I'm saying? And in terms of what you're saying, like, I get it kind of on that level. That's what came up for me, because that was my frame of thought as we got into it. But it's like they're ascribing to this image, and there is kind of like this illusion that these are untouchable figures. And for us, you know, some of these people were like some of our first heroes, or some of the first images we had that made us feel good about ourselves, or it made us feel like, you know, we have no limits. But if something like that can happen to them, who am I? This has all been an illusion in the first place. And why am I trying to sell this image to someone in the first place? I shouldn't be having to do that at all. Denzel does that. Denzel's at this space now where that's what he does. Will Smith also. And it's just like, what is that? Is kind of what I feel from you. Like, what is that? Why is that there? Because it's a part of the culture. Like, Denzel and Will Smith aren't the ones who ascribe to it. A lot of people in the community, black people in the community, and it's also that black excellence thought thing again, because that is what it looks like to them, Denzel and Will Smith. And then, oh, they did that? Taboo. Oh, taboo. How could they do that? They're not sticking to the image. Oh my God, is how it feels to me. And it's like, yo, it's almost as if, do these people really have that power if they only get to have it if they ascribe to this image and act this certain way in accordance with what the masters say?
I feel like there's
didn't even mean to do that.
I feel like there's a white framework as far as, and we already know that, but like,
well, yeah, that's where the bubble came from.
Yes, I think that's what I'm trying to describe, and I'm trying to say it more explicitly now. So I'm not like talking in riddles and rhymes.
You're welcome. I'm glad I could piece together your like whatever the fuck it was before I came along. Yes, thank you.
That's why you're here.
You're welcome, community. You're welcome. You're welcome. This is what I do.
You are here because you are more clear.
I'm here because I want to be here.
That too. Because you're more no, really. Like that's 80% of it. Like the other 20% is because you are clear and concise. And when I sound like when I'm just blathering, you can like interpret.
That's so bad.
Yes.
You're lucky I'm just good at expressing myself because like
I am not.
My brain's a fucking scramble. But niggas got a gift for Gab. Good for him.
Good for you. But like,
wish you did something for me.
But yes, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like this. There's a white framework in which, like, I was just thinking just now while you were talking that like when we were talking about the guys that like we had the whole argument with. I think you were there too. I think it was Wid.
Really?
Yeah, and they was talking about how Denzel is like the greatest actor, and they was like, you know.
Damn, like if I was there, that would have been way before I even
I don't know. I don't know who was there. I remember.
I don't know. I don't
remember who was
well.
there, but I don't remember who. Not the point. The point is that like even when like they think of Denzel as the greatest actor, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I could even let's say I change my mind and I'm like Denzel is the greatest actor. You know, like I watched Macbeth again tonight, and I'm just like. Nah, damn. He got it, right?
Yeah, that's him.
Hollywood looks at Denzel and says Denzel is the greatest black actor. And I could hear them say that. And then I'd be like, yes, he is. And then I think it still means that he's the greatest actor. And no, Hollywood says he is the greatest black actor. And what black is supposed to connotate is an asterisk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's this world we live in where the communication, I think, is just not clear. And it's not clear on purpose, but it's not clear to the point where it's like, I could say somebody is the greatest and I can say somebody is the greatest black. And then like black people will hear that, yes, this person is the greatest, but.
No, they won't. That's what you think though here? Is that what you honestly think though here? Because that's not what I think.
No, because that's what we repeat sometimes too. We repeat that
that's
like
not, because, that's what I mean.
Because like we'll be like the first black this and the first black that.
And subconsciously in your head, if you hear, oh, greatest something, and then greatest insert any adjective. So for this example, black something, all of a sudden subconsciously you are unfortunately hearing, well, that means I'm not the greatest if I'm only the greatest here. Subconsciously, whether you like it or not, if you hear, for instance...
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, yeah.
Yeah, I know, that's what I'm saying. If you hear, for instance, that's why I asked you, I was like, is that really what you hear? Because it's like, if you hear...
because I'm thinking like, just the process, where it's like, yeah, you're going a little ahead of me. That, I'm just saying like maybe a step or two behind. It's just that, like you hear that at first, and it's like, you think nothing of it. You're like, yes, it is. But then it gets to the point where you just described. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Sorry, I didn't mean to skip ahead,
But
but that's where I was from the beginning.
A lot of us
like,
don't even get there because we're like happy with the beginning, and we're
People are
happy with the
comfortable,
and then because we're happy and we're comfortable with the beginning, we don't think about what that comfortability buys us,
and what it means.
and it buys us a lot of pain, is what I'm saying.
Because if you, my fault. Go ahead.
So like what I'm saying is that like I look at Denzel and I'm looking at like even Denzel Washington. Like Jim Carrey can go in front of Gayle King and say like Oprah's best friend and say without any type of fear in his heart that like, oh, this and that about Will Smith and blah, 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 blah. He can go in front of another black woman who's friends with probably arguably one of the most powerful black women in America that's not named Kamala Harris.
Most powerful woman, period. See?
Yes,
See?
yes.
See?
Right?
Look at that.
And without any type of thought towards it, can be like, it just like insult Will Smith and not even think about it.
Well, wait, before, because I didn't see the interview, but it didn't sound to me like he insulted him at all, just how he really felt about it. Like he didn't like it. He didn't say anything to Will's character, but he did talk about the moment. Do you look at it as insulting? Because I don't think that's fair from what I saw.
I feel like it's insulting because of the audacity that's involved in it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what makes it insulting. That's how you feel? Okay. It's like if you... Will Smith is far and away a better actor than Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey's a great actor. But
surprised. I actually wasn't expecting to hear you say that, but cool.
I think the body of work Will Smith has versus the body of work Jim Carrey has,
like absolutely same.
He beats Jim Carrey, right?
And
and that's not even to take away. And I won't be disrespectful and take away that like, take away from Jim Carrey like the things he's been in. That's like,
well,
been
yeah,
like,
you can't. But like you know,
that's been like dramatic or whatever. Like he's been in great like dramas where like the Truman Show or like I just had the other one, whatever. Internal Spotlight of Goobity Gobbledygook, and something. Like you know,
Eternal Sunshine of a Spotless Mind, right? Something like that. All right, cool.
Which I think is a little overrated, but like it's
I didn't see it.
You know what I mean?
See it. I need to go see it.
But like even that he's great in, right? And other like dramatic efforts, but like it's not. It doesn't compare to the amount of times when Will Smith has like actually like been Will Smith in like
no, bro.
Anything.
Yeah, I sorry. 7 pounds. I Am Legend. Even
I don't like 7 pounds that much, but like he is acting his ass off.
You don't like 7 pounds. I'm saying, how could you not like? Well, you don't like 7 pounds of the film. You mean?
Yeah, the movie. Yeah.
Oh, okay, all right.
But like he's acting his ass off.
I'm surprised there at that but whatever. That's different. But like to say like exactly.
But like the range of motion is there. Like he does action, he does comedy, he does dramatic films, and when he does his dramatic films, he just about gives an Oscar performance in like almost all of them. Like there's way more performances that he should have been nominated for. Like he was nominated for Ali, he should have won that one. I think he was nominated for Pursuit of Happiness. He should have won that one.
Which definitely,
he's just a better caliber of actor, far and away, you know? And like Jim Carrey had like he just fucking says whatever the fuck he wants about Will Smith. Like that's what I mean. He just goes and says it, right?
Well, wait, Logan, before you continue, because
this is what I'm saying.
Finish your thought first.
Let me finish my thought first.
Yeah.
My thought is that there's a power structure that allows him to. That's what my thought is. Okay. There's a power structure that allows him to, that keeps him safe in his audacity. Like people, I actually did find out what the fucking bullshit that Jim Carrey did. Not because I was looking for it, but just because I fucking was coming across it, right? And people were like, somebody like made like this video about like how Jim Carrey should like keep his mouth shut about all this because he has been disruptive at award ceremonies before himself. And it wasn't like the Oscars or anything, but it was like, you know, like
still
like the MTV Awards or some shit like that, where like he like forced himself on like, I think it was like Alicia Silverstone and like kissed her, and then like
Yikes.
he tried to force himself on Will Smith of all people and tried to kiss him too at like a thing, and like
Yikes.
you mean arguably it could have been fake, it could have been a part of the script, who knows?
Yeah, true,
But
true.
also it looked bad. So my thing is that like this person has like he's just like speaking with his full chest about this thing, and it's like you have Denzel over there, and he's like he can't even help. He can't go on the morning shows and be like, you know, I think what's going on with Will Smith is just terrible. I feel like the brother, you know, probably shouldn't have hit Chris Rock, but like the way Hollywood is treating him is just horrific, and it's cowardice. Like Jim Carrey called all of Hollywood cowards because they gave Will Smith a standing ovation for his speech. Like Denzel can't do that, and he's Denzel. So that's what it made me think of, and it just.
Oh, you mean in terms of approaching the Academy? Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, that's valid. Because Jim Carrey can call him out, but Denzel can't call out the Academy for how they're treating him, and that's a double.
He
standard.
can't call the Academy out. He can't call out Hollywood out.
Mm-hmm.
Like he can't call any of these people out. Jim Carrey can say whatever the fuck he wants. Why? He's Jim fucking Carrey. Who the fuck? He's not. He's Dr. Robotnik. Like what the fuck?
Hey, don't you talk down on Dr. Robotnik.
It just makes me think.
Well, I mean, the point you're making is a fair one.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, I'm laughing now, but like, no, it's valid. Jim Carrey could get up and talk about that. The thing I was gonna say is because once again, that's why I was like, well, it seemed like he was talking about how he actually felt about the situation. Because the fact is, Will Smith did still do something that people are going to talk about regardless. They're going to talk about how they feel about it. Jim Carrey be the
one to speak on it?
I don't know why Jim Carrey was there. What if they called him to interview? What if he was planning for an interview
like
today?
They just brought it up? Does he have the clout enough to be the one to speak on it?
Well, Logan, he's still Jim Carrey.
What does that mean?
That, I mean, he's coming around the same time as Will from that generation, which is probably why they asked him in the first place. And especially for white folk, and I mean, black folk love Jim Carrey too. We're the reason he has his career. And Jim isn't the one who forgot per se. So like some people might argue with you and be like, because I would say like he didn't need to do all that. Tell me the
other side.
No, but I would tell you. But some people might be like, yo, a lot of people most likely agree with him, black and white. You know, in terms of what he was saying. That's why I'm like, because. That's why I was like, was he insulting him? And then you brought it up how you brought it up in terms of the audacity. And I'm like, okay, that's fair. But it's like, for all he really did was talk about what happened in the moment and how he felt about the moment. So it's like, I don't know if that serves as the best example for the purposes you're trying to speak.
The lack of pause lets me know the amount of comfortability and the confidence in which he displays. The confidence in which he displays his opinions about the situation is remarkable to me. That's what I'm saying. Because like when I speak on some shit, like if I had like a real career in like this shit, like there are people that like they said in The Departed, there are guys you can hit and there's guys you can't hit, you know? And it's like, there's people you can talk about and there's people you can't talk about.
Which shouldn't exist though, and you know that.
I don't live in that world where it shouldn't. I live in the world where it should. So if I'm gonna, that's what I'm speaking to. Is that like I'm not trying to speak it from an idealistic sense. I'm just speaking from where we are, you know, and I'm just reporting on it. You know, is that like I know that the power structure is all fucked up, but that's what I'm talking about. Is that Jim Carrey shouldn't be the one. Like he's the lowest of the low to me on the totem pole of who could get to like talk about one of like our times great actors. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I get you, but
that's what I mean. Like the power levels are not equal.
And the reality is, Logan, whether they are equal or not, they come close enough in some people's minds, I guess.
To me, it's like, okay, let me give an example. To me, it's like Kevin Hart giving like a speech about like how horrible a person Christian Bale is.
So Logan, here's the thing, like, and that's also not a good example either, because if Kevin Hart did that, who would take him seriously? I think depending on what if Christian Bale had done something,
Bale does a lot. He does a lot of somethings all the time. Like Christian Bale is notorious. He does shit all the time.
What shit? Because I don't be hearing about Christian Bale. What shit Christian Bale up to?
You remember when he yelled at the people on the fucking set of Terminator of all movies?
Wait, wasn't that like an artistic difference thing? And him and the director were just having
his fucking mind on set.
Like I mean, was
Terminator.
it like
it wasn't even a good Terminator movie?
Yeah, that one wasn't good. But was it like, they was having issues beforehand bumping heads, or he just randomly went off on this guy?
He went off on the set. He went off on the crew.
Oh, like
on like a fucking gaffer or some shit.
I mean, I feel like if Kevin Hart spoke to that, people would actually take it seriously.
No,
it's just for that,
Stop.
like, no, I do think so. I think people would take Kevin Hart seriously. Period.
On the white elite of Hollywood.
Oh, okay. He meant white elite.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay. Nah, probably no one would give a fuck.
But we give a fuck about what Jim Carrey got to say about the black elite of Hollywood. That's what I'm speaking to. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
It's like there's a fucking difference here. And like we don't like take a step back, look at what the fucking differences are and why the fuck are they like this, and like actually really question some shit. Like we just let a lot of shit slide. We let a lot of people just like say a bunch of shit because we're like caught up in the framework of ourselves, and we're caught up under that umbrella ourselves too. But like we don't sit there and think about like, fucking like if Denzel was Achilles and Will Smith was Hector, we don't fucking think about like some subplot characters like speaking on some shit about them too.
What? I don't think that's the best example either. Fuck? Like these examples is kind of rough, but like in the same breath, I don't think people are taking Jim Carrey serious to that extent anyway to make the argument. Just because on some level, because he's Jim Carrey and people aren't as mad at Will because they think so. You think the white elite's taking Jim Carrey serious? I don't think they cared in the first place. They just care about what Will Smith did. I don't think it's the white elite that takes him seriously. I think it's the black elite don't take him seriously, Logan. The fact that he got the platform to do it and the type of platform he got to do it. Like he got to be on Gayle King's show, which I get it. She's a reporter. That's an interview show. But like, yeah. So what I'm trying to get at is like, because I get what you're trying to say, and I get what like conclusions and the contrast comparisons you're making, but it's like, because what you're about to say is like he got on the show. My thing is like how much attention was paid to it over the week, and how many times they played the clip over, and how many times like that's what I keep thinking about. Is that like. You say that people weren't taking it seriously, but then it's being played everywhere. Well, it's not like the focus on who is trying to take it serious, and I don't think we as the black community, because so much of us took Will's side. The media using it, Logan. And this is what I'm saying. I'm like, well, they're gonna do that regardless, though. So no, that's like because that goes back to our Kevin Hart example. Like they're not gonna do it regardless. Like it'd be a throwaway thing if Kevin Hart did it. No, with that example, you were talking about who cares, which is valid. But in terms of like if he had spoken out, which I still don't think he would do because of everything we brought up before. But nonetheless, if he did, the media being the monster that they are, would just use that as well. No, I don't think that would happen. No, because it's based off of, like you said, like who cares, right? So the media has to care first, and the media has to think that it's something care-worthy first. Whether or not it is. Which is the other point to be made. Whether or not it is. But because of the fact, the way the media is slanted, right? They're not going to take Kevin Hart seriously about no bullshit like this. If Christian Bale went and smacked somebody during the Oscars. They're not asking Kevin. Maybe they are asking Denzel. They're not actually. Who Kevin. Knows? They're not asking Kevin. They asking, the point is that Kevin and Michael Blackson what they think. No, Michael Blackson definitely ain't getting that. You know that. You know we both know that. We both know Michael Blackson ain't getting that. But like, no, as funny as it is, but like Jim Carrey on some, because it's like, Sure, I get the example
is.
the example you're working with. Yeah, I get you. It's like, should Jim Carrey talk about Will Smith? But some people would argue yes.
It's not just that should Jim Carrey talk about Will Smith. It's that why did
that
we
he had the platform?
Why did we let him? What is the reason? And like the fact that like
why did Gail let him? Because on some level, you do have to.
Sure.
It's not like we, the community.
No, Gail was trying to defend Will though. Like when he was speaking, like
maybe that's why she had him on the show.
To her credit, that like he was on the show to fucking. That's the other fucking thing. He was on the show just to fucking promote Sonic the Hedgehog.
Now we're into some interesting territory because I didn't know for real. I just thought I was like, why was he there? But
That's how
it's a random conversation.
That's how low it is.
Like,
that's how low it is. That's how low Hollywood thinks of Will Smith, even though he is Black Elite. That's my whole point.
That Jim Carrey talking about him with Gayle King.
Jim Carrey, who's promoting a movie about Sonic the Hedgehog.
Don't you talk down on Sonic the Hedgehog.
I love Sonic the Hedgehog too, but the fact that one of the people who aren't even the fucking star of the movie, the Hedgehog is.
Yeah, but he's kind of the star.
He's
him and James Marsden. They're the only other two big names in the film.
They're still not the star. James Marsden is definitely not. He plays opposite James Marsden.
Don't belittle James Marsden, man. I like that guy.
James Marsden is not that guy.
He's not. He's not. I'm not going to sit here and pretend he's not that guy. I know. I'm just saying, like, they're the only two, like, human actors, like, real people in the film. Sonic is the star, of course, but, like...
Sonic's the star, but they could have interviewed Sonic's voice actor. That's not the point, Mitch. The point is... this is bottom of the barrel shit. And, like, that's what Hollywood would use to, like, tear down somebody who is supposed to be black excellence personified, Black elite, all of this bullshit that we keep saying. You know what I mean? Like, our elite don't mean shit to them, is what I'm saying. And the fact that, like, people think you can buy your way to the top or whatever is, like, for yourself, maybe to an extent, but even for yourself goes so far. Even if you're Denzel Washington, it goes so far. If you're Will Smith, it goes so far. Like, if you're fucking Wesley Snipes and all the fucking money you made for white people, it goes so far. Well, like, where? Like, my question still stands from last week. Where is fucking Will Smith's white friends?
I don't even remember that question.
I thought
that's a valid point. No, I don't remember you saying that.
But, like, where? So it doesn't even buy you that. Like, black excellence doesn't buy you a whole lot.
That's valid.
So it's like even like in your darkest hour, the devil may come for you, but like, where's the white devil to help you after all the money you gave him?
Well, I think you probably meaning white Jesus. Because the white devil's not coming to help you. The white devil's the reason you're there in the first place.
No, because you would think that you made the white devil so much money that he would at least think you're still profitable for the future.
That's not how the white devil works.
That's how Moon Knight works. Shit.
You started watching that?
I did.
Oh, I didn't. Okay. In any case, no, we don't need to do promo for that. But no, that's a good point.
You didn't like Moon Knight?
No, I just haven't watched it. The character I think is fucking amazing. I just haven't watched it yet because, real stuff be ruining shit. But anyway, no, that's really a valid thing to say. Like, where are Will Smith's, like, where was the rescue for the people who still are willing to acknowledge his humanity and realize he made a mistake?
Right.
And it was silence. There was nothing there. Everybody's just like, oh my God.
There's still nothing.
Still,
the man quit the academy. Still, nothing.
No one's spoken up at all. Nothing from anybody who's worked with.
The biggest defense he has are like randos on fucking Twitter. That's fucked up. That's just fucked up to me.
Yeah, no, that's valid, man. That is absolutely valid. There isn't enough care and respect given to a man who did something that he shouldn't have did, but obviously had some kind of break and deserves some sort of compassion. Like, nobody died.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was wrong, and I imagine Chris Rock and his family are hurt, but, like, this isn't something that's irreparable. This isn't something he can't fix. It's a mistake that can easily be righted, and no one gave him the credit to even, stick up for him.
Literally, like, my other thing was, like, street rules, he was in the right. Like, you know what I mean?
I'm glad we could have that talk. But no, valid. Street rules. All the hood niggas was like, oh, all right. Like, what'd he do? It's like, yo, man, he slapped Chris Rock during the Oscars when Chris was talking about his wife.
All right.
So what'd he do?
Yeah.
No, that's what he. Oh, nah. I mean, wait, he ain't do nothing else.
I'm that dude.
He slapped him. Like, but no, like valid. Like on one level, some people don't even think he was in the wrong. So you would think like someone could be like, hey, he's human. He makes mistakes. Let's forgive him rather than, basically excommunicating. Why don't we embrace him with some love like Denzel did? Embrace him with some love because that's obviously what he needs. We know he's going through a lot and people trying to pretend he's perfect, which he's not. If y'all didn't know, newsflash, surprise, Will Smith, Black excellence isn't perfect. It's made by human beings who are imperfect as we've known all our lives. So cut it out.
Yeah.
Is the basis. I'm not going to lie. But no, that's super valid. No, yeah, that's really all there is to say about that. Where is the outrage on behalf of him in terms of his defense? Like, the man made a mistake, but no one cares enough. Yet Christian Bale can yell at an entire set. Well,
it's not just Christian Bale. It's like,
the
and I
Oscars,
love Christian Bale.
We could
but it's like
find many
you can
examples.
go down the line of like people like Christian Bale just won an Oscar the other year. Like you can go down the line of all of Hollywood's favorite white people, and it's like they do shit like literally every week. And I don't know, maybe he just has a bad PR team, but it just feels like for each one of them, they have friends that are like willing to like be like, hey, I got you. Don't worry about it. What was going on with Will Smith that like they was so ready to throw him away, one. And then two, it just feels like even if you can be the most profitable black person, the institution that you are making the most profit for will still fucking throw you away. You know what I mean? Especially if that's a white institution.
Yeah.
Like the fact that Denzel would be like, whew, I don't know if I would do that shit. Like, you know what I mean? It's like Denzel should be able to do whatever the fuck he wants. You know what I mean? Like Denzel should be able to slap 3 Chris Rocks and not.
Don't say that because now we're getting to the place we don't even want the white people. But yeah, I get what you mean. I'm
just saying because we live in this world where like we're like talking about money and status and power and all this bullshit all the time.
There's different rules for different people. Yeah. No, it's a different set of rules for different people, and it's obviously not right or unfair. And so that I get.
Yeah, and I think some people would probably say that, oh, you just want to be like, you want to have the same type of bullshit power that white people have. But excuse me, it's not that. It's not that I want to have the same bullshit, but I actually want to have more. But like, if you ask me personally, but no, like
valid.
In the idea of what is fair in this world, that is the power that people are having. And if you don't have that, or you don't even have the potential to have that one day, then no, you do not have an equal anything, even if the imbalance is between you and them. Like, even if my monetary value is different than Denzel and I may never reach that, you know what I mean? There's a value to society that the society that both me and Denzel inhabit, he can't attain just because he's black. Like, he made fucking Training Day. Like, what the fuck?
Training Day was a good film. And he killed that shit.
He killed that shit.
He did kill that shit. But no, it's like I said, like, we're the only ones who, it's like, I don't know why or how, since, we usually aren't looked at unless we, like, get to this point. But we're the only ones, like I said, we're the burden of proof. Like,
yeah, they
don't ever police themselves in that manner. But as soon as a black person steps out of line, all of a sudden, it's slavery days again. Hey, nigga, what the fuck you doing? Who told you to step out of line like that? Can't be doing all that shit. What's wrong with you? You know better. And that, for me, is the biggest problem. Because that is literally a stranglehold from racism. And I'll smack fire out somebody for that shit. You're not going to treat me one type of way and then treat someone else. This is what I... And you heard me with the Bill Cosby and thing and how I really felt. But, like, that is literally what's happening. And it's disgusting outright. Like, I didn't agree with what Will Smith did. But, like, I forgave him immediately. And that is the thing. It's like, yo... How you willing to let all this other shit go? We just gave Louis C.K. a Grammy, which is where this all started.
Right.
Will Smith slaps one dude. Sure, it's Chris Rock, but he slaps one dude, but we can't forgive him at all. Mind you, he apologized. I don't even think has Louis C.K. even publicly apologized at all for anything?
No.
Probably some random bullshit. Oh, no, not even at all. Will Smith immediately apologized afterwards.
What is Chris Rock's
what
value to Hollywood?
Well, Chris Rock is the black comedian for Hollywood.
Is Chris Rock Jerry Bruckheimer?
I don't even know who Jerry Bruckheimer is.
Dude that made all the Pirates of the Caribbean movies and all the CSI shows.
No,
like if
not to that
Will
degree.
Smith slapped the fuck out of Jerry Bruckheimer, I'd be like, whoa, he probably shouldn't have done that shit. You know what I mean?
What? That's fucked up. I'd still be like,
no,
that's
he's
wrong.
a producer. Like, you know, it's like somebody who like he's the money
you
of
mean
the money.
in terms of the work relationship? You're like, yo, that's the dude hiring you, Will.
Like, this is somebody, yeah. But like he's fucking Chris Rock, really? This is over?
Don't disrespect Chris Rock like that.
Whatever. Let's move on. Because like I'm just gonna be here all day. I'm just be mad and just like, you know.
We took up a lot of time.
Yeah,
bro.
the point is y'all ain't shit. Anyways.
No, valid. I also second that. Y'all ain't shit.
Like, yeah.
Me and Logan def agree on that. You motherfuckers ain't shit. Fix it now, white Jesus, because if I have to come up there smack fire out you, I will. And then I'll pray to black Jesus afterwards, and he ain't even gonna be mad. So, because you know, real Jesus is just gonna be like, yeah, I don't know why you still putting up. How y'all still letting them
real
put up
Jesus
plaques?
Gonna ask
white
you why
Jesus?
you still praying to white Jesus?
and hear me, I didn't say I was praying to white Jesus. Said I'm gonna come up there if white Jesus don't handle, and then real Jesus is gonna be like,
get your peoples. Be like, get your
bruh.
peoples. Get your peoples.
Come on now. Like,
My
come on now.
favorite
How you
thing-
not smacking fire out these crackers in the first place?
Have you ever
Nah,
seen
but-
American Gods?
Yes. I
My
was
favorite-
into the final season, but I can't. Which
My-
speech? The Anansi speech on the boat?
No. My favorite thing in American Gods isn't even the Anansi speech. My favorite thing in American Gods is when you find all the Jesuses and you saw like, of course there's a bunch of Jesuses. There's Mexican Jesus, Korean Jesus, white Jesus.
Yo, yeah, that was fucking funny. On Easter, it was Easter. And
then like they
that was
go
great.
to like the Easter party and there's like 15 Jesus.
Yeah, they just chilling. And then they all get sad for that one reason. He's like, Jesus.
Yes.
And then they're all like, oh. It's like, oh, fuck. It's like, what the fuck? That shit was hilarious, bro.
I don't know why I just thought that was funny. That was so good.
No, that shit was hilarious. I'm not gonna lie. That shit was hilarious.
That was very funny.
And we fucking cracked up. But yeah, man. Y'all ain't shit. Fix it.
Mitch, talk to us about kinky people.
Oh, right. I guess for the time. Yeah. Let's do that and get on out of here, because
It's time to get out.
a little bit. But we got a little bit of time. It's okay. But no, well, so like I said, I just thought it'd be funny for us to try to like navigate, because it's like sometimes I don't get kinks. Like I understand the human brain does weird things, but what makes the human brain develop a kink? What makes, because now a kink, this is pleasuring you. Most of the time in a sexual way, not always, but most of the time in some sort of sexual way. Or maybe I'm saying mostly, but there are like kinks that like people just like need, like weird shit that pleasures them, you know what I'm saying? But in terms of like, I guess the sexual ones and stuff like that, like what triggers that, I suppose? And I just thought that'd be an interesting conversation between the two of us. Because I don't know if you like have any kinks or any kinks. I don't think I do, that I've noticed. I just love the female form and like pleasure in it.
I don't know
stuff.
if I would say any of my kinks here. Why did you want to talk about kinks?
I needed something to talk about, and I thought it'd be funny and interesting. And now you're all embarrassed on the cast. So I guess my real job here is to get you to talk about your kinks, buddy. What are you hiding back?
My kinks.
What are you hiding back there, man?
Midgets. Got a closet full of them. Sorry, little people. I got a closet full of little people.
No, yo, my bad. You didn't even take time to think. Hey, look, what kinks you into? Midgets. What? Bro, there's got to be some seriousness to that.
You know
a little
what?
bit.
I am mad funny. Like, I am very funny. I'm a funny dude.
Bro, that was just so stupid. Like, oh, okay. So I don't have any kinks, but I think I'd be into like bondage shit.
That's what I was just about to say. I find it very hard to believe you don't have any kinks.
Yeah, no. I don't know because I haven't really gotten comfortable. Them? Yeah. I don't, but I think I would be into like bondage a little bit, whether it's like dom or
like
sub.
You getting tied up?
No, either way. Because I think I'd love fucking a woman while she's tied up. I'm not going to lie. That would feel amazing. But I also wouldn't mind a chick like riding me as I'm like strapped to a chair. I think that'd also be fucking amazing.
All right. Let's talk about...
So anyway, as we delve into these kinks, but what makes me feel like that? And what makes me think that way? Like, what's the trigger? Why am I feeling this way? Why do I want to do these things? You know what I mean? Hey, man, we're here at the Milk and Toast. We're here to get down to the nitty grit and talk real. So if you ain't ready for this real, like, I don't know what you're here for, man.
Mitch is I hate it when he talks about sex, man.
I just get to it. I get straight into it, man. We ain't got time for pussyfoot and all that.
Mitch's his sex messages must be like wild as fuck. Like,
no, actually, because I don't feel as if I can take the risk. So I don't be all risque like people? That. Like, every now and then, but not like as you trying to make it be like, yo, Mitch must be like had this sexting game out the wazoo, like, and it's like,
shit.
Nah.
Like, it's just like,
yeah, but I don't just like say shit like that to women who don't know me as well, like who aren't comfortable with me. I'm not talking about
people who don't know you. I'm talking about people you obviously are sexting.
Yeah, but like I really don't sext as often as you would think. Like,
that's crazy.
It's been kind of dry on my end. Like, need to go out a little bit more. COVID's passing and all that. So, and I've been going out, but like, it hasn't been too crazy. I have been sexting a little bit, and like we got wild a little bit, but like, it doesn't happen as often as you think. Don't be worried about that. Images were sent.
Sex is wild. Like, the whole concept is...
The whole concept of sex is crazy.
I think the thing that's... I hate the mating process because nobody's honest about it. I would like it a lot more if like people were just honest about sex. Like, they were honest about not sex. Like, they were honest about the lead up to sex. Like, they were honest about the fact that everybody has a sex drive, right? Like, that's never like... I mean, I think I was like more intentional in dating, like later on when I was like, okay, like, how much do you like sex? You know what I mean? Like, I think I got a little more intentional about that because like I didn't want to have to keep dealing with a thing where like you get with somebody, but their sex drive is not your sex drive, Like, they have more or it's like way less. And then you're just like caught in like horny limbo with like somebody who like is never on, They're like on every once in a while and it's just like, it's never like enough for you. And then you look like an asshole. You know what I mean?
It's the reason people aren't honest.
You look like the person that like only looks for sex when like it's just your sex drive is just higher than theirs. Try to be honest
about like just only getting sex and like, and the funny thing is, because it's like, we're not supposed to treat each other as sexual objects, but I don't think it's the case. The problem is when you try to only treat someone as a sexual object, and that's one of the things that women really don't like. Of course, they know sex exists and they want sexual freedom.
I think they don't like.
What do you mean?
That's not always true. I think it's the dishonesty that's involved with it.
Oh, like, I think it's when people like only focus on them as that. The honesty thing, yes, is there. I'm not like discrediting that at all. You're absolutely right, 100%. But like, I do think it's to start with like people can only, because guys sometimes can be idiots and aren't able to look at them and see like, of course, there's someone there that I'm sexually attracted to, but remembering that that's still a full-on fucking person and you have to respect and, work with them on some level and treat them like a person, make them feel comfortable. You know what I'm saying? But then, of course, like the dishonesty, because it's like you're saying, you want people to be honest, But sometimes you look a type of way when you're honest with how you're feeling. Maybe you're not looking to date someone, or you're looking to be in a relationship, but walking up to someone and being like, hey, I just want to be sexually involved with you. Is that okay? Like, in theory, sounds cool. At least you're being honest. You should be. Someone can choose to stay away from you. But in application, people could choose whether they want to be near you or stay away from you. But in application, It doesn't work that way. Because, so in application, it's, in any case, it's not going to get you what you want as a man. As a woman, it's going to make you look a sort of way depending on the community you live in and if people talk and stuff. So people don't tend to be as honest in that capacity. There's images to maintain. We've been talking about image a lot today, but there's a separate image when it comes to your sexual image and how you look. You know what I mean?
I think that's part of one of the problems is what you said just then. You said it's not going to get you what you want in application. And it's that's part of the problem though. It's that you're not entitled to have sex with anybody.
No, right.
So if all you wanted was sex and then you did, that's a wild opener, but hey, that's what you're looking for is just you're ordering, from McDonald's or whatever. It's hey, you got any McChickens? And they say no. You can't be mad that they don't have any McChickens. You can't be you could, but you can't be mad that they don't conjure up something for you that they didn't have, right? So if you come up to somebody and say, listen, you're a beautiful person. I just think that we would have really great sex together. If not, no weirdness between us or whatever, right? Whatever your game is, right?
That's still weird to people.
It might be a little weird, but somebody might go for it. Somebody might go for it is my thing.
No, and I don't disagree with that. I'm just saying en masse, most of the time, what my point is, Mitch.
What my point is that and the person turns to you and they say, ew, no, right? Fucking walk away, right? But I think what happens is people get involved in the fact that they go okay, I would like to have sex with you as an individual. I've seen you, and I think that we would have great sex. No strings attached, no funny business. That's just the wavelength I'm on. And somebody says, ill, no. And they have already invested in their mind, all the reasons why this should happen. And because somebody denied them that, they're this is a problem. And it's not. It's not a problem. You ask for what you want, honestly. You were denied by another honest person who equally denied you on an equal playing field, right?
So
they said no, right? That's it. There's no problem. There's any problem. The only if the problem is that they said no, that's your problem. That's not anybody else's problem. That's not even a real problem.
But realistically, you're saying realistically that doesn't end up getting you what you want, and now you're dealing with sexual frustrations you didn't want to deal with, which is why people end up being dishonest. Which you were dealing with in the first place. If that's what you were dealing with, but this is what I'll say. That's why people aren't honest. If you asked
me for $5 and I didn't give you $5, you still didn't have $5.
That's true.
You can't be mad at me because I didn't give you $5.
Yeah, but what if a different method would have worked?
Of getting the $5?
Yeah.
That's called manipulation. You see what I'm saying?
But that is, and sadly, that is, and we don't even have to just use that for sex, because if you talk manipulation, you could argue the case of sales being an entire treatise in manipulation.
That's what sales is.
Of course, that's what sales is. But so when we're talking about sex, though, that is what ends up happening, because people have wants, people have needs, and all that. Sometimes the lines get crossed, and then due to hormones, emotions, whatever you want to call it, people do whatever they want to get what they want. And that's kind of why people aren't honest about sex. Because you're right. You should want to be or live in a society where you can be honest about sex. It's going to suck when you get rejected. We all know rejection sucks. But nonetheless,
We have to
being
stop.
honest would be the better path.
We have to make rejection not suck. We have to, and the way we do
That's
that
a tough
is like
one.
stop feeling entitled to everything all the time.
Although the feeling of rejection isn't about feeling entitled. Well, it isn't just about feeling entitled.
What else is it about?
Well, so feeling rejected.
Like no shit. Like I'm not.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't think you are.
Yeah.
I'm not even. I'm just explaining. So there is that sense of like, yo, I wanted this, but rejection. To be honest with you, I still don't even think it's about entitlement. Because when you're rejected by someone, it's really about what's wrong with me. That's what really ends up happening. You don't really go, oh,
why
man,
is there something wrong with you?
No,
to
but
get
that's
rejected.
that's just what I mean. Like in terms of rejected, that's where I think a person's brain really goes.
But I'm saying like try to unpack that. Is what I'm saying.
Oh, like why is there something?
Yeah.
The person said no. You thought things would work out between you, and so that's why I'm like, okay, I get the entitlement thing, but it's like, if it didn't work out, that means something went wrong somewhere. And usually in a case like that, there's only two individuals involved. You're not going to blame that person, so the blame falls to you.
Okay, hold that thought, right?
Mm-hmm.
We just explained that like if I ask for sex from somebody, like openly and honestly, and they openly and honestly deny me, nothing wrong happened, right?
Right, nothing.
So if in my mind, I ask for sex from somebody openly and honestly, and they deny me openly and honestly, and then I take that rejection and I internalize it as something is wrong with me. We internalize something is wrong with us. We internalize that as like a malfunction. To have a malfunction means that something did not function correctly, right? It means that there was something wrong with how something happened, right? Not that there was something right with how something happened. There's something wrong with how something happened, right? I'm trying to break this down. So what that means is if I internalize that you didn't want sex from me because of the fact that there's something wrong with me, that means that there is a condition where something is right with me, and that you would want to have sex with me. Right? That's wrong. That's wrong. And that is entitlement, because it means that under the perfect conditions, there is no way you would say no. Like there is under good conditions in which I am a functioning and in good condition. I'm not damaged, because you said the inquiry is into my damage, my being damaged goods. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like somebody shook up the soda and that's why it exploded. Right? That malfunction is why you rejected me. Not merely on the fact that maybe you don't want to have sex. Maybe you're tired today. Maybe it has nothing to do with.
I mean, I see where you're going, but like realistically speaking,
still realistically, it's only in your head.
Yeah, of course, but that's what I'm saying. Like, how can you feel that keeps you entitled to someone? Because if you're internally having that problem, and sure, it is because of them, but you could still recognize you don't have the right to them, but nonetheless, you're going to feel something's wrong with you. They're in your head. They're telling you something's wrong with you.
No,
in your head. I'm just saying, like, the way some people usually think, in your head, someone's making you feel as if something's wrong with you.
They're just saying that they don't want to have sex with you.
Which unfortunately is going to translate as, yo, why isn't this working between us? There has to be some sort of reason.
It just makes me think of fucking Cardi B, which is like, what is the reason?
What was the reason?
But no, like they don't owe you a reason. And two, there doesn't even have to be a fucking reason. You made that shit up in your own head. Rejection is a symptom of entitlement. That's what that shit is. Like, I mean, like the feeling of rejection is a symptom of entitlement. To the fact
this
that
is what I mean. I'm like, I don't think that's how. There's separate things to me.
Because you're saying there's a dysfunction, right?
Yeah.
If there's a function, like if you function well, then you're saying that I function well, so therefore I'm the most sexy person in the world. And if I ask somebody,
see, I mean,
it is that
I get where you're going, But like, I don't, this is what I'm saying with rejection, because I don't think sometimes people are going to be thinking so highly of themselves, especially if we're going back to the, you know, why aren't I honest thing. Because I don't think a lot of the time if someone was going to do that, for instance, if we found an example, I'm not going to try to visualize the example because I don't want to.
And I'm not like trying to sit on a high horse about it. Like,
no, I don't think you are. I don't think you are.
I know that feeling, but that's just something.
No, I don't think you are. I don't think you are. It's just that in terms of the conversation and for the argument, it's like sometimes we're thinking like a person feels a way about themselves. And in some instances, I think that would be the case. But that's why I'm also just like, I don't know if I could just say it's one way. Like you making the argument, I won't deny. And like in hearing it, I'm like, there's valid points in there.
You just said it. They feel that way about themselves.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying I don't know if I would put that all on entitlement because you never know what someone's going through or what they're feeling or how the inner workings of their brain are.
Okay, what I mean is, what does your feelings about yourself have to do with me?
But see, I'm not, and I didn't do that. That's what I'm not doing because it isn't necessarily about the other person or feeling they owe you something. You're just feeling bad, kind of for the sake of just feeling bad. You're like, oh, damn, like. I wish I was. It's almost like saying and I think this is a better way to say it, because it's not like saying, yo, that person owes me. What the fuck if I was this? It's almost like walking away sadly after having to accept the fact that that person doesn't owe you anything and being like, damn, I wish. And now I'm just sad because of the fact.
Why are you sad? You don't know that person. Why are you sad that they rejected you?
Inner working of the brain, mental illness. I don't know the actual answer to that. I'm just saying that's how people's brains works to me. That's why I was saying I don't know if it's fully fair you could make the argument for entitlement. I'm hearing it, but like knowing like the internal workings kind of to a decent level of like how people's brains work or why they feel the way they do.
Let me ask you this. Do you think it's possible to be sad and entitled? Like
fuck you.
If sad is the thing that was hanging us up here.
Fuck you sometimes. Fuck you. But sadly, yeah, that's definitely possible. There's definitely a possibility.
If like the barrier here is that, well, they walked away like an Eeyore. It's like be like fuck
and the thing is, but see, and this is the other thing is why I'm like, I don't know if that's fair because you never know why someone's sad. People be going through shit. That's why I eliminated the other person, because one thing we do agree on, of course, is that person's having the person feeling rejected is having the problem. And it's not the fault of the person they asked. It's of course still on them. I'm not denying that at all. It's just that like, you know,
but your reaction,
be feeling sad.
But your reaction is also indicative of what you believe about the world around you and how the world should react to you.
And see, here's the thing, Logan, and that's why I would make the argument and disagree, because at least for me, how it looks is like you're having this person have this entire internal dialogue with themselves.
No, not necessarily.
But you don't get, in terms of the way you explain, that's kind of how it sounds and looks. And I know you're feeling like they're doing these mental gymnastics. I'm
trying to make it as simple as I can, to be honest. Let me say it like this. You don't need a whole internal dialogue to think you're entitled to some shit. Like, entitlement is a big word, like, and it comes with a lot of complicated things, right?
And when you get into it, like,
but you don't need to have like a whole, like, entitlement is also a feeling. Like, you don't need to have like a feeling, like, which comes after like a snap sometimes. Like, you don't need to have like a whole big internal battle with yourself.
The thing is, I agree on that. But the thing is, I feel, and that's why I am keeping them separate, because like I know how both of those can look. And I feel there's honestly like,
I think you're trying to be
really clear-cut line, which also might be fair. I won't deny, Logan, but I genuinely, in terms of like the emotional spectrum and just how I personally feel, I think there's a line between like someone feeling the entitlement through rejection and someone just feeling sad about the rejection itself. Because like you can't be always like, and I guess to me in some sense that it feels like your emotions are being caused by someone else. But I think most people could recognize the fact, and this is, so for instance, you said, well, let me explain, because you said, for instance, can a person be sad and entitled at the same time?
Yeah.
Answer is yes. On the other side is, well, a person can feel entitlement and feel sadness on a separation pretty simply too. And I think that can happen in the point of rejection. Someone may not feel entitled to you, but they sure are still yearning for you, maybe in some sense, which I know sounds like entitlement, but isn't. They're
How does
just
that
sad.
sound like entitlement, but isn't? Listen,
Because
that.
because being able to have a fantasy in your head, and yes, I will argue that it's inside your head, as long as you're not using it to harm anybody, affect anybody, you kind of have the right to that. Now, if you feel sad about that because of how you're feeling of the rejection, I also still think you get to own that. If you're like feeling
you get to
like,
own it in what sense?
Not in the sense of owning the other person, just in the sense of you're feeling negative about yourself, which I'm not saying is good. And obviously you need to do something about that. And obviously it's a problem. I'm just saying, I don't know. I don't feel as if you should necessarily label that as entitlement. People get sad, dude.
You asked me for $5.
Okay, I don't see how me explaining that made you go back to that.
You can't have $5. Why
person's
are you
still gonna feel bad. People have issues letting go.
Give you $5.
And
what in your mind makes you think you should have had my $5? Like to get sad?
But see, and
sad is a big emotion,
Logan. But I think you're doing something actually problematic here because you're like, because in one sense you're trying to, unfortunately, because I get where you're coming from, and in one sense you're like on the right path, but like, who the fuck are you to tell somebody how to feel?
I'm asking why you feel that way. And I'm hoping you unpack that shit.
But Logan, unfortunately, in terms of where you're getting to, in terms of the unpacking, we kind of crossed the line from being like, yo, get the fuck over your shit. Well, maybe it's not the labeling. Maybe it's just in terms of how you like explained it to me. Because it's like, people gonna feel sad for many fucking reasons. It takes them the work to, they have to do the work to get out of that. But like, you know, that doesn't necessarily mean they're feeling ownership to someone. Well, because like feeling entitled on one level is like, there's a certain ownership I feel I should have. And I don't know if it would be fair to say man or woman, you know, when they get rejected, that they immediately feel something like that. Sometimes they just be like, damn, you know, I'm sad. And on some level, they get to feel that way. I hope they work through it, but that's the only thing I'm really trying to say.
Yes, but you're saying, I get the feeling of being sad. I get it. What I'm saying you're not speaking to is the reason behind it.
And what I'm trying to tell you, and that's another thing I'm trying to tell you,
comes about.
You want me to explain and unpack that, but it's like
an interaction in which it was so shallow that you don't know that person.
Yeah, that's true. I guess I got a little bit deeper.
You took it upon yourself to internalize that interaction as like, oh, there's something wrong with me. And I'm saying that, and I'm going to make a point right after this, but I'm saying that to have a reaction like that, and this is why most people, like you said from the beginning, this is why most people wouldn't like open up to another person that way in the first place.
Because we're talking about the honesty, and that's where it goes into.
But like, this is why, like, you're right. Most people don't like rejection. They don't want to get rejected. And I really feel like if we got rid of like rejection culture, like, which is like,
that'd
I know
be
it's like pie. It's pie in the sky.
You're right.
It's pie in the sky. It's pie in the sky thinking, but I don't think it's not necessarily undoable.
No,
but I think
agreed.
that like if we were able to get rid of this idea that like just because you were rejected, something bad happened to you, that we could even have like a safer society. You know what I mean?
We would have a safer society, and that is the problem, because there is a big rejection culture that stems from it's the basic success failure option. And if you're not succeeding, you know, how we've been brought up, oh, then you're failing. You're not beneficial to the society. And in this example with what we're going for, because sex, we didn't get to talk about that, but sex isn't just a pleasurable thing. It's also the act of procreation. And if you're not having children, making a family, there's also the look of you being a failure like that. If we were able to somehow get rid of that rejection culture, or if people could just, you know, mature enough, because, you know, we've been able to get there ourselves, but I can't. I mean, maybe you can say it, but I can't say that was an easy path for me. You know what I'm saying? I
No.
got there, and
No,
I got there fairly early on. Well, no, let me not say early. Like
what I want to say
mid-20s.
is, no, I don't. Like I said before, there's nothing easy about feeling rejected. For me, there's nothing easy about feeling rejected.
Okay, but for real. But if we could, and even still, like it affects you in such a bad way.
I have not evolved to the point that I am speaking. No,
bro. And no, I completely get it. I'm getting close. But nonetheless,
right.
even still, Logan, like the feeling of rejection is so powerful and emotions are just so strong that and because you're imperfect and your brain does such shit, like you're gonna feel types of way, do dumb shit.
But that's what I'm saying. It's not by magic. The feeling of rejection comes from a thing, is what I'm trying to say.
But you're trying to get to the source, Logan, and sadly for the both of us,
when you put things into context, they become a little less scary. And when they become a little less scary, they become easier to fight. You know what I mean?
Which is true, but that doesn't always necessarily mean you'll have the answer. How do you explain sadness? Because
you explain where the sadness came from.
But that is it. I get that.
It's not that there's a problem with being sad. It's that you have to be able to understand why you're sad.
And you want to draw
if you're
those
just
lines
walking around with your raw emotions all the time and you're never unpacking why you feel that way, that's how people get hurt. You know what I mean? You get hurt. You're one of the principal people that get hurt. You get hurt and you do hurt other people because you don't deal with your own emotions. You're just rocking around like this wild tornado of like emotions. You make your emotions everybody else's problem, and they're not everybody else's problem, but they become everybody else's problem because you become everybody else's problem. So what I'm trying to say is that like, it might not be nice to hear. It's not nice for me to hear that, like...
No, but we do have to hear it because we've all made the mistakes. But it isn't just because of us. It is because of that overarching rejection culture and a few other things. But that is
because of us, because we're the one that's feeling that way. I don't mean
to excuse us, but yeah, it came from somewhere. Because if we're talking about the lines of where it comes from, we have to unpack. Like, it does straight up come from that rejection culture. And then you end up internalizing a lot of that shit. And then... you end up potentially doing things that hurt other people that you regret later.
When I say culture, all I mean by culture is what we're allowed to get away with. Like, that's really all I mean when I say culture.
I'm just mad that does sadly make sense.
What is it that we're allowed to get away with, and what is it we're not allowed to get away with?
And as we spoke about today, the rules be different for different people.
Exactly, right? Like, women in Saudi Arabia can't walk around uncovered. You know what I mean? Like... unless you're the president's wife or some shit. You know what I mean?
Right. What's that about?
Like, Michelle had a whole argument with Barack about that shit. You know what I mean? She was like, you mean you really so you're not the president? Like,
of the free world? Yeah, I know. But like, Barack was like, yo,
he had to fucking think about that shit.
Yo, Michelle, come on, please. Like, come on, man. Like, come on, please. Right. And she put on the skirt. Because I think she came in.
Her head was uncovered. Like,
yeah, but she came in pants, and they had said she couldn't wear, so she had to put on the skirt, but she wasn't gonna cover her arms or head. She was like, "Yo, y'all best fucking chill."
Yeah, but so that's what I mean. That's what I mean by culture. So it's like our culture allows us to feel this way about rejection. Our culture allows us to feel, and especially men, it allows men to feel validated by the fact that, oh yeah, she was a bitch because she didn't fuck you. Like, you know, like it allows us to feel that way. Like the option is there for us. Like, even if you're a guy listening, you're like, oh, I don't feel that way. Good for you.
Yeah, but awesome.
You have the option, you know, and that's the problem. It's not whether or not you do, it's that you have the option. And you have the option to be like, you know, I asked this person to fuck and they didn't want to fuck, and like, fuck them. You know what I mean? You have the option to feel that way.
But it's also always available. Keep in mind, and one thing we didn't, because we got on one side of the discussion, but then like in terms of the other reason for dishonesty, once again, I guess I can't say globally because I don't know, but in America, we're not necessarily as comfortable sexually as we should be either. Otherwise, people might feel more comfortable being more honest, but we're not even there either at all. So it's
but we put a lot of grossness on top of sex, you know? Like, there's a lot of grossness and like gunk. Let me say it like that. I mean gunk, you know, that we put on top of sex that has nothing to do with sex, you know? And I don't mean just like, the rejection thing, but like there's other things like that are on top of sex when it comes to sexual politics and like when it comes to like dating and everything.
No,
that
that's super valid.
have to do with all types of other things that
a lot of double standards, a lot of norms that probably shouldn't be normal.
Mm-hmm.
There is a lot of that. There's a super huge big part of it. Notice you brought up rejection and you were like mainly men, and then I agreed with you, mind you.
No, not mainly men. It's just that men have the power to
at
use
the time
that as
use
their
that example.
excuse. Yeah.
But like at the same time, it's like we don't even bring up how rejection could feel for women because of the position we've put them in sexually. And I was like, yo, that actually hit me and hurt me even harder because I was like, fuck, because we need to be having those discussions, but we don't even want to give women the freedom to sexually express themselves as well as they could in the first place or make them feel safe and comfortable. So it's just like you fucked both sides. And now there isn't a better or proper way to communicate. And it's like we want to get to this place of honesty, but no one feels comfortable being honest.
I think people just have to start. It's got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
So you have to be able to start.
We're starting now, but and when I say we starting now, just as time is progressing, things are improving. They're better than they were in like the 1950s. In some ways, maybe worse, but like
I'm not asking anybody to go out and be like, "Hey, I want to make out with you." Like you can, that's cool, but like I'm definitely not asking
in one sense, you
anybody.
Kind of are.
No, I'm not. And I want to tell you why I don't want to ask you sick fucks to do that, because I don't want to be responsible for y'all. Because y'all will take it too far and said Logan said, and I'm not here to deal with that. What all I said is that people should be able to be honest like that in like a harmless way in which you are actually comfortable and like be actually comfortable with the fact that like you can walk up to somebody and say, listen, saw you from afar. I don't know what it is, if it's the stars or the moon or whatever is going on, but like something tells me that like we should make out. Did it tell you too? And they say no, you walk the fuck off. Like, and you just find somebody else to use that lame ass line on. You know what I mean? And just walk off because all you wanted to do is make out.
Now you're talking about how to frame your honesty, which is also still a different conversation.
Through honesty?
What we're trying to get to, at least what I thought I was trying to get to, is the fact where you could just be honest, period, however you spit it out.
No, I mean, like, just be honest. Like, you want to say, like, whatever you want to say, but the goal is, like, you're very clear about the goal. You can have as much window dressing on it if you want, but, like, you're just clear about, like, what your intentions are, what your goal is. It's like, hey, you, me, your face, my face now. Like, you know what I mean? And it's like, if that's what you want, Senator, like, I was gonna say Senator Herpes, but I think that's a little too mean. But like, because you can't go around kissing everybody. Place. But like, if that's what you want, there's nothing wrong with that per se. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with that. But with the wrong element comes in is like when you want to hide your intentions and you want to hide who you are and what you want out of somebody else's time, and then when you even don't get what you want, you blame the other person. That's fucked up.
Yeah, that part is fucked up.
It's just fucked up. And we are taught that is how a functioning and normal relationship should go and start out. Like, that's what I'm getting to.
No, for real. And
so you starting off wrong and bad anyways. And so, like, it's like, we need to figure out, everybody needs to figure out, like, how do we just get to that place of honesty where we're not just honest with the person we're talking to, but we're honest with ourselves. That, like, you can be honest about why you feel rejected, whatever that is.
Yeah.
You can be honest about, like, what your intentions are. You can be honest about everything. What you're feeling. What do you want? Like, be honest about that. That would make sex great. You know what I mean? Between everybody.
Right.
Yeah, that's my soapbox.
No, I get it. Let's get out of here, though. We went over by a lot.
I know. I gotta fix our times. Anyways, Mitch, Do you have anything you want to leave the people with?
Fix your shit. Like, you know, and I don't even think I'm talking to everybody per se, but it's like there's a lot of there's always some type of umbrella thing going on, and it's like, yo, we can't keep putting people in bubbles or having double standards or treating people differently based on financial status or whatever, or how well known they are. Like, it's wrong. It's just wrong. And, you know, sexually or otherwise, treat people with respect and be honest, even if it's hard. Like, try to figure out how the honesty can not be harsh, I guess. But, like, otherwise, honesty is the best policy, even though it don't seem like it. And trust me, I know how much it don't seem like it, but it is the best policy. That's all.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to accept this wrap up on the behalf of the Milk and Toast podcast. I would just like to say thank you, Mitch, for being here. I would like to say thank you, Mom. Without this, it wouldn't be you.
I don't know what's going on.
I would like to say that, you know, somewhere she smiles down brightly on me and all of you here. I would just like to say, fuck the Academy and fuck Louis C.K.
Fuck that shit.
Fuck Louis C.K. Fuck Jim Carrey. I've been like waiting to do this for like a whole week, and like it's been really hard to find the words. But I think that if I could be great, and you could be great,
which is them turning the music on you. And we
can all be great together. I love you. I love all of you. You like me. You really like me. Yeah, fuck all y'all.
You didn't even leave when the music came on. Like, you're one of those.
Yeah,
one of those acceptance speeches.
Yeah, I'm a fucking talk.
Like, fuck y'all, man. Y'all ain't turning music up on me.
On me. Shit. I was surprised they didn't turn the music on Will. That was crazy. Because his speech was long.
Yeah, but they needed to hear something. They was like, yo, you better say something.
You better say some shit about this shit.
Yeah, man.
Oh man, the best was like
the
best was like the reaction like right after like they gave whatever award that Chris Rock was handing out. Like Chris Rock,
he was just like standing there.
He was just like standing there like I guess I can just get fucking hit now. It's
yeah,
like,
I got slapped. Like, I'm sorry. Listen, don't look at me like I know what happened. Like, shit, it happened. All right, like shit. I'm gonna stand here. Like, you want to feel awkward? Feel awkward.
Talk shit, get hit, Chris. You already knew that. He's from Bed-Stuy. Shut the fuck up, Chris.
Oh my god. Not everybody want to play street rules, bro. Yo, crazy.
He's from Bed-Stuy.
So my man has changed and wants a different lifestyle.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, you know what? That lifestyle follows you everywhere, apparently.
And the fucking show. Just end the fucking show. Oh my god. Yo.
Oh yeah, fuck Gandalf too. Let's get out of here. Say bye to the people, Mitch.
You shall not pass.
This has been episode 45 of the Milk and Toast podcast. I've been your host, Logan. Thank you. Have a good evening. Have a good night. Have a good whatever you're doing. Bye. See ya.